making women aware about something which is so natural to them. I mean, it's amazing that something like this is needed. I want to start off with, you're educating women about menstruation, something which is so common and so something which is so inherent to womanhood.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's very true. I mean, there has not been a time where women have not been menstruating, and the only problem is it's still considered as something which is very disgusting and something which might, like look very impure to a lot of people. And this is something which is very wrong, perhaps, but without which perhaps none of us would have been born. So the whole idea that even though it's something so natural, but we cannot talk about it, maybe because it's a body discharge, maybe a lot of these taboos that are associated around menstruation makes one feel that, you are impure. It directly relates to the person. So you are impure, you are dirty. And this keeps on conditioning. If you go through the same feeling every month for 5 times a day, 5 times in the week, and 5 times in the month, you're bound to feel that, okay, I am conditioned to feel this way. I am conditioned now to have a low self-esteem. I'm conditioned to feel this horrible. And it's one of the most common topics, yet a lot of people are very hesitant to even talk about it.
We know a lot of women find periods very uncomfortable, and your organization, the Paddling Foundation, is working towards educating women about menstruation, breaking taboos, breaking stigmas. And I see that on your website, on your LinkedIn page as well, you have 9 beautiful girls.
Yeah.
So who are you guys? What is the Paddling Foundation about?
Yes, I would love to elaborate on that. So when it started with a bunch of people, like 2-3 people are just brainstorming. Is this possible? We're talking to different organizations. Is this needed in the current times? Because a lot of times what happened, the response that we got in urban areas was that this is something now which is very common. So you don't really need to talk about it anymore. And this doesn't, the menstruation taboos and people not having sanitary products, this does not exist anymore. And there are a lot of NGOs working. So there's nothing needed. But this was again completely blurred out because people did not realize that beyond them, beyond the knowledge that they have, still there are thousands and thousands of women still not facing it. So we started with 3 people. We spread our entire motive of what we are exactly doing and empowering women on menstruation, spreading it through education, awareness, sanitary products. Eventually, we had a team of 20 members and it kept on growing because we realized that the more we are talking about it, people want to join and people want to actually fight against it. And people want to fight the period poverty. We weren't giving any incentives. We are not getting any incentives. But the entire idea of, this is the India that we want to see, where there is no stigma and we are eradicating period poverty along with every organization that is also running around the same lines.
Dipika, what motivated you to start something like this at such a young age? I remember when I was in college, I think most of us, we were just concerned about getting placed and getting, high salaries. And I think a social concern was unfortunately missing. And you're so young, your entire team of 70 people is so young. What motivated you to start this, and what is your what was your driving force?
Yes. So honestly, in terms of working with NGOs, my dad had just okay, so this is the NGO, we're just gonna go and you're gonna give your time. And I did not understand the concept when I was a young kid. He made me go in I think around my 9th or 10th grade. And that was the time when I was like, okay, my dad is saying so I have to go. But I did not know the purpose of going to NGOs and working for them. Why am I doing it? I'm not getting anything in return. What is this? And all of those thoughts used to come in. And eventually, when I started working for 3-4 years, I realized the importance of NGOs and the work that they do, which is just social service and for people. And in terms of starting paddling, since since my childhood, honestly, I have been struggling through menstrual taboos, and for the longest time, like throughout my adolescent years, I did not even know like these are taboos. I just thought I have to
Right.
follow this because this is what it is, and
Right.
I have to be respectful to everyone and to everything that is going around, so I cannot voice it out. And there was a gut feeling, you just get a gut feeling that something is wrong, but you
Is
don't
not
know how
right.
are you going to fight it. Yeah. And that was always there, but I was like, no, if I fight it, no one's going to talk to me. And maybe this is just in my head because everyone else in my, like my friends and my relatives, my extended family used to follow that. So I never thought it was wrong. And the most like one of the driving forces which made me realize that this is something which is wrong was
Yes.
in my second year of college when I was doing my bachelor's, and my sociology professor took out the topic of menstruation, and that was literally the first time I was exposed to the cultures and the taboos which are associated with it, and how it impacts the human brain, how it impacts the
Right.
minds of women, and like
Right.
right from low self-esteem to low confidence to just like not being able to accept this. And I was like, this is exactly what I feel. I mean, how do you know this, and how come I never knew about this? Why did I not expose myself to this? And
My
that was
God.
it. Yes, that was it. I knew I wanted to do a project related to this, and after that, as much as I wanted to, I did not know how to start again. And while in the same year, while I was doing a leadership training program, is when I got the platform and I decided. I mean, we had to do a project, and I was like, I don't have to give a second thought because since a year I've been thinking on how to get something related to menstruation out, and that was it. I started talking to people about this. I got the project in hand, and I got an overwhelming response from people. Like everyone I knew wanted to be a part of it in some way or the other, even if it was in terms of guidance. But a lot of them wanted to even see India as a completely again free of period poverty.
Yeah. So when you say period poverty, you mentioned it so many times. What do you
Yes.
mean when?
Yes. So what I mean by period poverty for me is to have India wherein there is no like you don't have to worry about your financial background before you opt a menstrual product, which is good for
Right.
your body as well as for the environment. And at the same time, poverty in terms of your education and knowledge too. Do you know what menstruation is? Do you know what is the biology behind it? Do you know the scientific phenomena behind it? Of course, not the technical terms, but just to know how your body works. Because until
Right.
and unless you don't know about it, you cannot embrace it, you cannot accept it. And that is one of the only ways where we feel we can help women to empower themselves and to embrace their own bodies.
Absolutely. Like you rightly said, knowledge is power. And
Yeah.
so when you say period poverty, it refers to not only financial resources, but your knowledge resources as well. And unfortunately, this is not taught to us in our schools.
Yes, and a lot of schools have started, but they cover it under the umbrella of sex education. And menstruation is something which is like a small part. Like you should know, but you won't like really be exposed on what is the X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, everything of it. You'll just maybe get to know X, Y of it. That's all. So
So
it kind of hinders it. Yes.
who says it's important for men to educate themselves on menstruation so that they can empathize. And also, since a lot of men are involved in the lawmaking tampon tax, so they need to be aware about it. What do you have to say to this?
I think that's extremely true because when you're fighting against something, you need a platform where everyone is together. The moment it becomes one person's or just one community's fight, everything is just like, okay, so that thing is secondary. Once you get everyone together, be it men, women, anyone, and fighting towards it together is extremely important to eradicate any form of taboo, any form of issue. So even understanding the fact, again, I would like to go back to the line, if we were not menstruating, again, maybe you and I wouldn't have been born. So the whole idea that even men need to know about menstruation, and not
Right.
only know, maybe they can know the biological processes of it, what are the symptoms, what is PMS, what are the things if they are female friends, mothers, sisters, anyone in their friends community, anyone whom they know they menstruate, how can they help them out in any possible way? And also, I would like to elaborate on the fact that the article that you wrote today, it had a great mention of how men should also keep pads within their bags. For example, we have band-aids, they have perfumes, they might have deos, they might have every other thing which is not their need as well.
Yes.
We might carry things which is for someone else in case someone else needs it. And
Right.
this is the same thing for pads. Why can't you carry one? We can definitely encourage men to get in, play a role in this, because, for example, even in the team we have a gender inclusive platform wherein we are including everyone, whoever wants to fight against it.
Right.
And the same way, we need to encourage people out there that it is not something which is a women's issue as such. It is
Right.
something which everyone needs to fight it together, because it is a cause for humanity after all.
Absolutely. And I think these conversations will always help. And moving on to our next, issue, what do you feel about the new biodegradable options that are available, for using during menstruation?
So the biodegradable options are perhaps one of the best things that have come into market for the recent times. And also considering the fact, because if you go to see the synthetic sanitary napkins, the ones with blue gels and plastics that a lot of people use, they are extremely harmful to the environment. I mean, if you go with the stats, then each sanitary napkin takes around like 500 to 800 years to decompose. And there is no specific exact number, but the estimates of different studies show like around there is a 9,000 ton of waste and per month.
Per month?
Yes.
9,000 tons.
Yes, that's a lot.
And
that's a lot. Apart from that, also a lot of times, for example, if you use these plastics and if you use the ones with the blue gel, you're in contact with one of your most sensitive parts of the body. And
Right.
the more you use them, it is also going to impact your body in later years because of the chemicals, the fragrances, and also it leads to, if you go to see after a duration of 4 to 5 hours, it leads to itching and bad odor and all of these. So the biodegradable and reusable products that have come into the market is a great alternative. So even those are segregated into different things. Like there are reusable products which are cloth pads, menstrual cups, even reusable tampons which are made up of wool and hemp and all of these materials, the raw materials. And these products are extremely good because they are, one, cost efficient because they are reusable, and secondly, they are also very healthy for your body and the environment. While you're protecting
Right.
your body, you're also saving the environment. The only con with the, say, the cloth pad, for example, is that
Right.
if you are traveling a lot and if you are constantly in the outside world, then it becomes tough for you. Where are you going to change it? Where are you going to keep it? And all of those factors.
Right.
But if you go with the reusable products of menstrual cups, for example,
Right.
you can use them straight for 12 hours, and
Yes.
all you have to do is just wash it, and you have
Yes.
to just like that. It's easy, it's simple, and you get it in like 400 to 800 depending upon the brands, and that's all. You're sorted for 2 years. 2 to
Yes.
5 years, in fact.
2 to 5 years. Yeah.
Yes.
Easily.
And also, yeah, and one more thing, a lot of people don't know that the biodegradable products are also made up of, there are different like cotton pads, cotton tampons, and
Right.
they are made up of bamboo fiber, cornstarch and bamboo
Right.
charcoal pads, all of these materials which decay within a year. So it does not harm the environment, and these are biodegradable, reusable products. So
Right.
it's extremely important that people get aware about this. And
Yes.
of course, not demeaning the fact that initially when we just had cloth, when we just had all of the unsterilized and really messy cloth or newspapers, mud, all of these materials, at that
Yes.
time sanitary napkin was a revolution. I mean, of course,
Right.
not demeaning that fact, and it was much needed. But with changing times, with changing technology,
Yes.
people should realize that we need to change too. And this is the time where we now know that we have something which is good for our body and for our environment.
Yes.
We need to opt for that. No matter how hard change feels to human mind, but it is.
Being a psychology student, that's so well put. Change is always, difficult for
Yeah.
people. How do you recommend people start fighting menstrual taboos at home? What has proved successful in your experiences?
That's a very good question. One thing that I want to go for first is that menstrual taboo is something which is deeply get ingrained in the form of, like, if they don't follow these taboos, these norms, it is going to impact something or the other. It is going to be an omen. And what an
Right.
omen does is it basically attacks your entire survival instinct. So once you attack someone's survival instinct that, oh my god, if I don't do this, what will happen to me? It is
Yes.
going to just go as an attack and it will go in vain. And like I
Right.
said in the start, that this is completely a personal struggle to fight the taboos. And
Yes.
I mean, in my team, there are a lot of people along with me who are fighting the taboos within homes and relatives itself. And it's
Yes.
a constant fight. I mean, honestly, every month I fight for the same thing. This is a stand that once you have taken, you have to constantly keep fighting for it. But while doing this, I also realized that fighting for it really doesn't make sense, because I am just attacking them. And it
Yes.
is a notion that they have built, and completely, like, attacking them is not making a difference at all. The only thing
Right.
that is making a difference is this generation, whoever is ready to fight against it already, they are stepping
Yes.
up. But people who are already just completely deep engrossed within these norms, they are not able to get
Yes.
out of it. So also understanding the fact, where are they coming from? So if you
Right.
go to see a lot of taboos, say for example, not getting out of the house, one of the
Yes.
taboos. So
Yes. Not
why
sitting
was
in the
it done?
temple,
Yes,
not
yes.
being allowed to pray, which is absolutely such a personal right.
Hmm, exactly, exactly. And even like you said, temples, and even like not using the same bed sheets, not using the
Not
cotton bed
entering the
sheets,
kitchen,
not entering the kitchen. Yes,
not
and
not
on top,
eating I think achar or spicy food. I don't know. I've heard all this bullshit. I've
yes,
I've meditated to forget it. But some of them are
yes.
so unbelievable.
Yes, it's extremely, like, you should not go for swimming at all, and all of these things that if you go to see, there are like hundreds and hundreds. And honestly, maybe there was a reason back then. There was a reason. We need to explain them. Why was this done? For example, if you cannot use a cotton bed sheet, why was it done back then? Because we did not have access to sanitary products. We did not have access to anything, and the bloodstains on cotton are a lot more and they stay than the wool. But
Okay.
today we do not need to follow them because we are using sanitary products, and I mean, it is washable. We have detergents, we have everything.
Washing machines, we have
Yes, we have
everything.
washing machines. And even for example, if you say going out is not recommended during periods. And a
Yes.
lot of theorists say, why was it done? Because back then we used to live in an environment where there were wild animals around too, and animals have a sense of blood. So the moment
Yes.
they smell blood, they come near to you. And just to protect women, this was the only reason that it was done, just to protect them. And
Right.
all of these reasons, they were okay back then because that was okay for that time. But right now, when we have evolved, we are coming into different eras. It is important to understand the changes also that have come along. And
Yes.
to it's basically now we need to change along with time, and to understand that technology has taken over. We have science, we have research, we have things to prove why is this there and why is it not. So now it's important to use the logic instead of just going with the fear and emotions all the time.
Yes, absolutely. I didn't know this, that the third gender uh, and transgender men can menstruate too. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes, that is extremely true, and that is something which is unfortunately not documented enough. And also considering the fact that anyone with a uterus and a vagina can menstruate, finally.
Okay.
And the whole idea that transgender men, transgender individuals, and gender non-conforming individuals menstruate too, the whole idea is either not accepted or it's just like shunned away, like, no, this cannot
Ignored.
happen. Yeah, it's just
Right.
ignored, it's just denied. And I mean, I came across an interview and it was so beautifully put that these people who menstruate, they are so emotionally overwhelmed, because if you go to see, even the packets, entire packets of whatever I mean sanitary products are available, it's always
Yeah.
mentioned with women's health
Right.
and nothing else. I mean, everything is revolving around women, and it's just like no other. Even some women don't menstruate biologically due to some reasons, but it's
Yeah.
not mentioned at all, and it's not documented. So apart from the physical pain that they go through, they also go
Yeah.
through a vast majority of like emotional pain. Also,
Right.
considering the fact that a lot of transgender people are not given jobs and employment opportunities because of the taboos revolving
In our
around.
country. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then them going to a shop where we are not even getting a sanitary product with dignity, because it's just said, no, this is not possible. Or the whole idea that it's just denied. And it causes so much of emotional torture that we cannot even
Right.
imagine. And it's not
Absolutely.
documented, which is the worst part. So, yes, we need to start talking about it. People need to raise their voices that it's not just women who menstruate. So, yeah.
Yes, I think that's an amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it on this platform. I think it's very important for us to be aware, and that's probably the first step.
Yes, totally. Awareness is anytime the first step. Once you're aware, then it's up to you what is the choice you're gonna make.